Hey, welcome everyone to the Whatever's Biting podcast. This is our June episode 17. If you want to hear more of us talking, you can go back and listen to 16 other podcasts. I'm John from Creek Fishing Adventures. If you don't know who I am, I'm also joined by Ethan. Ethan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Ethan from the Fish Anything YouTube channel, and I'm very excited to talk fishing, man. I'll tell you what, you just mentioned it before we got started. Summer has kicked off, and I feel full on summer. For those of you who are actually watching this, because it's in video and audio format, you can tell that I'm sweating. Well, it's because I'm in my garage and it's the middle of the day, and I am very hot right now. But you know what? I'm fired up and ready to talk about fish. What about you, John?
Yeah, it was a hot one. My car was overheating when I was going through Zaxby's after church. I was like, this is a rare time for us. We usually don't do it right now, but we kind of threw it together. We're gonna try to make it happen. We both enjoy talking fishing. It's just a matter of squeezing these in. But yeah, I've been going crazy fishing all over the place, doing all kinds of things. I got a little show and tell. We got some stuff, but I mean, what I really would love to hear is what was the last fish you caught, and let's just talk about what was the last things we caught, and we'll work our way back from throughout the months, what's going on.
Yeah, I've actually got some interesting ones. So I took off a work day last week and fished with my friend Bill. So that video will come out here in I don't know, a few weeks. It takes me a while. But we had a full day on the water, and probably the last fish I caught was a dink. But I'll talk about the more meaningful fish from that day. I tried big baits for quite a while, and I was not having success.
Oh, yeah.
I was behind Bill, and he's a good bass fisherman, and he was throwing a glide bait, and he was able to actually catch quite a few numbers. He never did get the big one, but it's funny. I stuck with it. I'm gonna try to get my show and tell out here. It's a long rod. I eventually was able to catch a fish on a bigger glide bait. This is just that Buka deal.
The trick shad?
Yeah, the trick shad. The Buka.
Yeah.
Mike Buka or whatever.
Yeah.
Trick shad. And he was almost 5 pounds, just shy, or she. Had it been about 3-4 weeks ago, it would have been well over 5 pounds, potentially closer to 6, but she had a very empty belly. But I'm excited. That video is going to be really cool because I really kind of gave up on the big baits there for a while. And I kind of switched down to ultralight. Was just wanting to catch some fish, caught some panfish and whatnot. But eventually I'm like, no, I gotta keep trying, and to close the day out with an absolute tank. So definitely goes to show that the big baits will in fact catch those bigger fish, but it also goes to show that you're probably not going to catch quite as much quantity. And I don't know. When it was a little windy out, I had a hard time really feeling like I was working the bait well. But I told myself this year I'm going to try throwing some bigger baits, and it paid off.
You held to your word. That's a big thing you've been talking about this spring and stuff. And did you see that fish come hit it? Did you get to see it? Or
yeah, it was pretty cool. So I threw it up against kind of a weed line, and I started to figure out the cadence, but we were in an area that didn't have quite as much chop on the water, and that really helped build my confidence. Just kind of doing that hard reel to get it to kind of go side to side. And so again, it was a little more still there. And then I did it, and I saw the fish come up and eat it. I didn't think it was that big when it first hit. And then I started to kind of fight it, and I started to see it more. And I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty big. And then when it got next to the boat, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's a tank. I thought it was, it would have been so much bigger if we would have just been fishing pre-spawn as opposed to post-spawn. But that post-spawn window, I think, definitely helps that bite, just in the sense that they're big and sluggish and probably want a big meal, but they might not want to work super hard to get it. So for that fish, it obviously wanted those calories. Unfortunately for her, I tricked her, but hopefully she was able to find a real meal by the end of the day.
Yeah, I always wonder how much food fish eat throughout the day. I know to gain weight, they have to eat quite a bit. Was it 10 pounds of food? I don't remember. I watched these pond fishing videos, and they're talking about how they gain weight, but they need a lot to grow.
Yeah,
but I think they can probably survive a long time and just eat whenever they come across. But it's funny. It's the first I picked up that trick shad 3 weeks ago, and I took it and I kind of fished 13 minutes off the bank, and I just took it to a spot where I know a lot of bass cruise. It's like a creek channel that it's like a place where fish cruise up and down. And it seems like I've seen fish in there, And the thing what's cool is I had like 4 follows in like 30 minutes, and they like come up and like look at, and I end up catching one of them. But it's so fun to fish with that stuff when you can see it. Like I can't do it in non-clear water. I have no confidence, but if it's clear water, I'll throw bigger baits because that way I can see what's going on. Are they reacting? Because so many times on my mag draft stuff, I'll watch that fish follow and I'll just kill it and watch the fish eat it on the fall. But if I never knew
Yeah.
he was there, I'll never do that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. Yeah, I gain and lose confidence very quickly with them, and that's where I just need to throw them more. And I think hopefully that confidence will stick around a little longer. But yeah, throughout the day, it was just ups and downs. Like I tried throwing like a big wake bait. There's like a rat, and I
Yeah.
really loved the action of it, but I just couldn't. So I actually had a lot of confidence. I was working it well, but nothing ever came up. And so eventually I switched to the glide, and I started out. I'm like, I don't feel confident at all. And then I felt a little confident, and then I didn't feel confident at all. Then eventually, towards the end, then I caught that fish, and I'm like, man, I don't want to put it down. So now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that felt good. So yeah, that was like the last meaningful fish I caught. Other than that, the day was actually not the best for me. Bill had a lot more success than I did, and I'll just kind of attribute that to the fact that he's a very good bass fisherman. And so me sitting behind him, he was cleaning it up, man. I wasn't able to catch as many, but I still had a wonderful time in the water. So it was
Well,
sweet.
go over your setup real quick and what you thought about it. Would you change anything so far? Because that's not a real heavy glide bait. It's not like a real big one, but it's big enough.
Yeah. Yeah. This is such a hard, I don't have enough room in here. This is the G Loomis IMX. It's a 7'11" swim bait
Oh,
rod.
okay.
2 to 6 ounces. I bought this like 10 years ago, thinking I would start throwing this stuff. And like you can see it's in really good condition because I don't ever throw it. So that's where I'm like telling myself I got to try it some more. It's a moderate fast, 15 to 30 pound line. I think I've got like 20 or 25 pound, like trilene big game or something on there. Honestly, I kind of like the more of like that monofilament feel with this rod, and I liked the rod. I felt it did pretty well. I was able to throw that bigger rat, which was like over 2 ounces, and then I don't think that this
Oh, yeah.
trick shad is. I don't think it's at 2. I think it's what one and
No,
a half or
I
something,
think so.
maybe
Yeah.
1.7 somewhere in there. But no, I thought it felt pretty good, to be honest with you. I think it was probably more rod than I needed for this bait, but I don't really have anything for that in between. It's like if I was to go down from this rod, it would be like a 7'3" medium heavy, and I don't
Yeah.
think that would be enough rod. So this one did fine.
Yeah. I'm going out Tuesday. So in 2 days, I'm actually probably going to have that tied on, and I'm going to meet up with Alex, and we're going to hit up. We've been waiting on the rain to stop. It's been flooding like crazy, but we're going to hit up a lake and run up the river channel. And there's some big bass in there. I've caught 2 6-pounders out of there, but I really want to throw a bigger bait. I'm probably going to start with that because it's not so heavy. It doesn't wear you out throwing that lure. But I have a Fitzgerald 7.3 heavy, and it's rated like half to 2 ounce. So it's rated up, so it handles that really well. But it's not so huge where it's in my kayak. It's easy to work.
Yeah,
But
I kind of
I love
want.
it.
I don't need another rod, but like I was like as I started acquiring some of these big baits, I felt like what I have is probably more than I need, and then what I would like is something that's like 1 or 1.5 to like 3.5. It's like
Yeah, I know.
any like mid-size swim baits. Like I don't need something that's going to cover a 5 ounce bait. Like I don't have any intentions of throwing something that heavy, but somewhere in that like 1 to 2 ounce bait, like those are the ones that I would like to toss around a little bit more. So
I feel like you're more versatile. You can do a lot more. Well,
yeah.
so you're gonna think it's crazy. So yesterday, I just drove back. I did a little mini trip. I drove Thursday night. Drove my Suburban. Pulled my trailer, the Malone trailer I got. Took my kayak and slept in my Suburban on Thursday night. It wasn't
Oof.
too hot. It
Yeah,
was like a
really.
mild, but I was like, it was all right. And then I fished a river with Jake Ilyakin on Friday. Then I was like, it was like 5 hours of drive. So I'm like, I'm staying another night. So I stayed another night. Well, Friday night was hot. It was miserable. I got all kinds of bites all over me, and anyhow, but I stayed because yesterday my goal was to go catch a pickerel in Tennessee.
Nice.
I've been doing research. I've been talking to people. I have this whole history, like from years ago, of like fishing this little creek, and I learned there was pickerel in it. So the only way to access it is from a lake. But I took my RVR with the motor on it, it's a Newport 180 Pro, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm going to run up that creek channel. You know, it's only about a half mile like run probably to get back in there. And I fished 3 hours in there, and I didn't get any pickerel. But it looked the most pickerel-y spot you could find. It was like grass, bushes. It looked so good. I ended up catching like a bunch of bass. It was actually a really good day of like bass fishing. And then I started throwing around like a Bobby Garland, like maybe they want something littler. And I'm just like flipping around all these little bushes and stuff. I catch crappie, bluegill, red ear, and bass on the little Bobby Garland. But where's my rod? I caught I broke it there. I caught a bunch of them on this right here. Now, this is something I just got. This is the new Cast King Kestrel Air. And it's on a 6'4" Kestrel medium light rod. So this thing weighs nothing. I got the spinnerbait on there is almost probably too big. It's a 1/4 ounce. I caught a bunch on that spinnerbait. I had a littler spinnerbait that I threw for a while and it messed up. But also, I've been throwing a little buzzbait on this setup. Got 10-pound braid. And the more I mess around with these little rods and reels, they're just fun. You just catch all kinds of stuff. Everything feels big on it. But that 6 foot, the medium light has enough backbone to kind of set the hook on something where it doesn't feel too clumsy. But the Cascade sent me the Kestrel Air, and I don't remember what it costs, but it feels just like the Kestrel. But one thing about I'm not a big fan of the spinning reel, but they're the casting Kestrel BFS reels. I've been really happy with them.
They're I have one of those.
I got two now, and they've both been really good.
Yeah, I feel like it's fun. I honestly need to pick mine up. I just haven't been fishing a ton. So when I go, I've been enjoying it thoroughly, but I don't have the quantity of trips. But definitely need to get a BFS out. I thought about bringing one the other day. I didn't bring one. I'm kind of glad I didn't, just because I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have ever caught that fish. But it's good to live through you a little bit that you've been having.
The thing I'm trying to catch, there's like these species I'm trying to catch in Tennessee. And one of them's a bowfin. I ended up catching one of those a few months ago.
Sweet.
My first ever one in Tennessee. My goal is to catch more. I've been doing research, looking at bowfin and pickerel, and there's like no videos about them in Tennessee. So I did a bunch of research, and supposedly there are pickerel in this area. But I bet they're just rare. I bet there's just not a ton, because it's that side of Tennessee. It's just kind of, if you look at where I've been doing research where pickerel are. And it shows like a blotch over there in like middle western Tennessee. So I'm going back for it though. I don't know. I have these goals, like things like that. Are like, now that I've been doing this so many years, I feel like, and done so many trips, it's things like that really entice me to like just these little challenges. Like, I want to go find that fish. I want to catch that thing here. I want to do things that no one else has done, or no one else is really doing. Like, there's no videos and no stuff about it. People probably, I talked to a guy at the ramp. He's like, you know what? I think I've caught a few of those. And I described it to him. He's like, yeah, I've caught a few of those. Every once in a while, fishing off the bank, he fishes there. So, but he probably had no idea. I don't think he had any idea what it was. I think he's just like, I don't know what this thing is.
Oh, hopefully he didn't lip it.
Yeah. Did you put your finger in this? But speaking of another thing I did that I'll cover real quick is the 5 rivers in 5 days with Aaron for Aaron's Outdoor. That was if you're listening to this or whatever, I got all 5 videos out there from 5 days in a row of fishing. I recorded each day, like showed what happened. That was exhausting. I was so like wore out at the end of that trip. But it's something cool. I just want to do something that's just like different. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I pushed myself. We caught fish every day, explored new rivers. Didn't catch anything giant. My biggest bass was a 19-inch smallie, which was a nice one. But like most of them are we just caught tons of 14, 15 inchers and rock bass and stuff like that.
Yeah, still sounds like a good time to me. But I think one river trip will take it out of you. 5 in a row, I don't know what you would have felt like when you were done with that, but I would imagine you were ready for some more sleep.
Yeah. For like 2 days, I did nothing. I actually so the thing was, The fifth day we only did like a half day, but we were still out there fishing. And then that was a Friday. Then Saturday I actually went and played basketball with my brothers, my younger brothers. So they were only like 2 hours away. So I drove down there, and then they're like, yeah, we're playing basketball at 10 in the morning. I was like, or no, was it 8? It was 8 in the morning. I was like, 8 in the morning. I was like, I was planning on sleeping all day. I got up, played basketball, did pretty good. Not great. But I was like,
Still
it was
got
a
it.
good time. I scored, did some stuff, and then I crashed so hard after that. Like
That's the best though.
day,
You feel like you earned it, you know?
I was in
You
a
feel like
fog. Like they were wanting to do stuff, and I was just like, what? Whatever. It was definitely a weird feeling. Getting old.
that's good though. Like I feel like I don't really nap very often, but if I was to just go hard and like fish a bunch or just spend a bunch of time working in the yard or whatever and just like feel like I earned it, and then you take that nap, it's probably the most satisfying feeling in the world. So I hope that you just enjoyed a
Yeah.
little rest, a little leisure.
Oh yeah. I think when I got back, I did some stuff. Then I got back and like I think I slept till like 1 or 2 that one day, and I was just. But that's what's like. I feel like I can push myself to do these because I know I don't have to be at a job. I know I don't have to clock in. So if I just crash hard, I'm like I will crash and I will just relax and get back to normal, without dying and having to go back to a job or whatever. So that is the one ability I'm trying to push myself to do stuff because, why not? You only can do this once, so that's my goals are. That's what I've been doing. I feel like these challenges recently. I'm like challenging myself and challenging other people. Like, dude, if you want to do something, do it. Just do it now and do it, and as long as you can afford to do it or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's sweet. I like the idea of you trying to catch the pickerel. Is it a chain pickerel?
I think so. I think they're chain pickerel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I've had those types of ideas in the past, and I don't have those types of creative projects at this point with my channel, but I could see myself wanting to get more towards that at some point in the future again. There was a while there when I started getting into the trout thing, is like I wanted to eventually find a brook trout, and I still haven't done that, but at this point it's kind of fallen down the list. But I'll probably resurface that idea, is to like go out and really try to find one of those, which reality is I just need to go north. But even so, like there's still some in my general area as long as I was to go put in some work. So yeah, I like the idea of that, trying to like pursue that pickerel, the pickerel pursuit.
Oh, pursuit of the pickerel.
The pursuit of the pickerel, the pursuit of the Tennessee pickerel, the elusive Tennessee pickerel. This is the great series that you got here, John.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So I'm going to make a video from that day, but I'm trying to debate. If you're listening to this now, you probably know, but I'm trying to debate whether I should mention the fish, because at the end of the day, I fished like 3 hours. I've explored this little area. It's really, really cool looking area. It's like super cool. Caught fish. Thought I saw a pickerel hit. You know how they, ram your lure. You've caught them, I think. But
I've never caught a chain pickerel. No.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's like any of those things. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I've caught chain pickerel in Florida. That's right. I think that's the only place I've caught them.
All I've caught is one redfin pickerel, and I've seen a grass pickerel, but I actually picked it up because it was like in a flooded area, and I just grabbed one. It's basically the same as a redfin. They're tiny. They're little. Okay. So yeah, grass pickerel looks about like a chain pickerel, just small. Well,
you've been around a lot of pike and stuff. It's kind of.
Oh yeah, been caught.
Like I had one just something slammed my spinnerbait and went back. I was like, "Whoa, what was that?"
Probably was. Kind of like you missed your opportunity. Yeah, you got to go back.
I thought it was gonna be easy. In my mind, I'm like going there, but I was thinking about it at the end of the day. I was like, you know what? I didn't catch what I came for. And like I built this video up, like talking about I'm going for a species, that I've been wanting to come for years, and this is the area it's at. And at the end, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to say what I'm fishing for, because catching it would be awesome. It'd be an accomplishment, but it's not it doesn't make or break the trip.
It's the goal, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun while.
I think I'm going to talk about like at the end of this trip, at the end of the video, whenever I edit it in probably a week or two, I'm going to be like, you know what? It's about going out and doing stuff. Don't let the results keep you from having a good time. Just go have a good time, and whatever happens, happens. But you have a goal. If you don't get that goal, it's still okay. Because I fish with buddies that when they don't catch good fish, it's like, Couldn't. I'm like, dude, we just had a blast. Just enjoy the day, enjoy the
Yeah,
trip.
dude, that's very true. No, life lessons with John. Hey, welcome back to Life Lessons with John. But seriously though, I mean, I think for me, like doing the whole YouTube thing. So I obviously don't do it for a living. You do it for a living. It's a little different for you, but for
Yeah,
me, I don't put out as much content anymore. And it's not to say that I don't want to. It's just kind of this is where I'm at in life, and I'm very much come to terms with kind of what my situation is. I'm very happy with what I'm able to get done, kind
right.
of thing. So the other day, I went out there and I was like, man, like we're gonna be on the water all day. So like chances are I can, get a couple videos out of this kind of thing. And it's like started out and it was just much slower, but I was throwing big baits, so I kind of should expect it's going to take some time. But by the end of the day, I only feel like I really got like the one, video done. But I think a couple years ago, I would have been kind of upset. Like I'd have been like, oh man, I
Yeah.
really just didn't. But at the end of it, I'm like, dude, it was a wonderful day on the water. Like I didn't catch a ton of fish, but I caught a nice one. I had a good time with my friend. Like
Mm.
it was a blessing. It was a great day. So I'm happy that I feel like maybe I'm maturing a little bit in that sense, but I totally agree and resonate with what you're saying is like, don't let like a goal or a specific result determine your happiness from
Yeah.
going fishing.
Yeah.
Like just be happy you went fishing. Like even if it's a slow day on the water, I mean, it really goes back to that age old saying is like, it beats a long day in the office or whatever. It's like it
Yeah.
really was a great day with a buddy. So yeah, I fully agree. Ooh, camera
Yeah. You went blurry. Sorry.
went blurry there.
Camera's trying to work too hard. What kind of camera are you? Are you using like a?
It's a Logitech webcam.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I have. I've got three of them. I'm on my third edition of it because I keep getting better ones because the cheap ones I just don't like the way they work. I still want a better camera, but if we did this like every week, yeah, when we go full time every week, I'll get a better camera. But for right now,
Oh
this one works
boy.
pretty good.
We're gonna need a couple sponsors. Did you get any sponsors to give me a kayak yet, John?
No,
Wasn't
we're
that last
working.
month you said
Oh yeah,
shoot.
we're still working
All
on
right.
that.
So what's next, Mr. Creek Fishing Adventures? What's on the agenda this next couple weeks?
I'm going Tuesday. Going to go out a kayak, and I'm going to use probably take Old Town, put the motor on it. Going to run up a creek. I run up a river that flows into this lake, and there's yellow perch, a lot of yellow perch. There's big largemouth. But this is another thing. I'm only now I get to do things that like, all right, what excites me, and excites me is going exploring. So I've only been up this river, like other than like 100 yards. I want to go like up the river, like 3-4 miles. And I've heard there's big spotted bass up there
Hmm.
because the water it's pretty cold. It's trout stream. It's a trout water,
Nice.
and I heard there's a lot more trout. And I've also I went up at one time, and that was like in the winter, and I only caught a few fish. But I learned that the channel stays deep for quite a long while. So
Hmm.
like there's like this nice deep channel of current, and I'm like, okay, in the summertime I'm going to hit that. It's on my goal, and we're going to do it hopefully. And I think it's loaded with bass. Like I think they will be aggressive up in there in the current.
Sweet.
I'm gonna go with a good buddy that likes exploring stuff too. Now that I have a motorized, comfortable kayak, that's the kind of things that are like, it just changes. Getting more and more gear is nice. Sometimes it bogs you down, but having more and more opportunities and more ways to go do the same thing you already do. That's what I like doing. I like exploring. It started out when I first started the channel. All I had was I still have it. I have it's a $12 fishing rod from Walmart, a $20 reel, and I would go around little creeks, hop around. And I've advanced since then, and I've gained things, and I've gotten some from sponsors, some from buying things, some from this is the goal I want to go for. I do the same thing. I still go explore. It's just in a lot better equipment, a lot of time, a lot better gear. But that's still the way I am. That's just me. That's just what I want to do. If all that stuff got taken away, I'd still be exploring somewhere. But it's cool to be able to try new things. And I've been able to do stuff here recently with the kayaks, and I maybe even get another motor. I don't know. I've been talking to these people because of the size of my channel, because I do like kayaks and I do a lot of kayaking. People reach out and they want things shown. And somebody just offered me. So this is funny. Somebody just offered me some electronics. They're like, "Would you be? You want some of these like new electronics coming out?" I said, "No, I
Wow.
don't. I would not use them." And that's the thing is like, I'm only like people see me get stuff. Like I'm only going to take things that I think I will use, and also I can show other people. So yeah, I mean, if you send me the greatest electronics in the world, I'm probably not going to use it. I don't even have I got a motor up, but I don't have like a battery
You
powered
don't? Do you
anything.
not have a fish finder at all?
No, never used one. Never had one.
That's sweet. Yeah, I think you should just
I mean, I might
never,
someday.
ever. No. I'm making this decision for you now. You will never, ever, throughout the rest of your channel's life, throughout your life,
Yeah.
no fish finders. We're placing a ban on fish finders for you for eternity.
I had one on a little John boat, and I don't know what it did. All I looked at was like the water temperature and depth.
Yeah,
But
that's like, I
most
mean,
of the
that's
time,
the
place I'm
big
in,
thing that I
I can
look at
see the
mine for.
bottom. So
That's wild. Yeah, I like to know what the depth is. That's like I don't need all the forward facing. I mean, sure, it's cool. It's like it's a neat technology, and I'm not against it. But I'm also like, I don't need it. I mean, I'm on a kayak, for crying out loud. But I do want to be able to see the depth, and I like to be able to look at a map. Like, and I think that's like a nice feature. It's like you can pull up your phone or whatever, but to just have the map with some contour lines and stuff, just to know. But that's sweet, though. I mean, good for you. And you catch a lot more fish than about 95% of anglers, and you don't even need one. So you're a prime example for all of us of what it means to be a true fisherman, John.
hey, I'm trying to stay true. Yeah. What's funny is like I went to I got a buddy Caleb. He's a charger. He's a guide on Chickamauga here, and I'm actually going to be his blood. They do a blood drive. That's actually next week. So I sat in he did a class on map studies, and he had a professional fisherman in there, and they went for an hour. They went over this map stuff that I like had. They're talking about things. It might as well have been another language. I'm like, these little things here. See this right here? That means this. See this here? That means this. Their fish going to be on that. I'm like, hey, this is really cool, but I'll never look at this. And I can understand why you need that if you're trying to catch. If you're like hard into bass fishing or a tournament guy. And that's the thing. I've been going to these. I just got back from Ohio last week. Went to a tournament. And I went up totally random. I just picked a spot on the map. I'm going there. That's only work I did. And hold on, I'll show you something. And it turns out that I got 60th out of 81 people.
Nice quality
60th,
result.
Bring it in. And my biggest fish all week was 13 and a half inches. I'm like,
man, we've all had that. You know what? Ohio's pretty. I feel like I don't know where in Ohio are you?
In Dayton, I did a river, like a small river, in a spillway, like a little area, and then I went to the Great Miami and floated like 10 miles on it. But after the tournament, talking to everybody that caught fish was like 10, 15 miles downstream on the Great Miami. Supposedly that's where like more fish are.
Gotcha.
I did all this. I was going through everything. Trying this lure. What do I do here? All right, here's grass. Let me fish that. Here's the spot. I'm like going through everything, thinking, why can't I find fish? I found one guy fishing in the same area I fished, and he didn't do very good either. So like, is a lot of times that's where like I am terrible at pre-fishing and like putting in the ground and the legwork to like find the good stuff. That stuff drives me crazy. I feel like,
yeah,
and that's where I'm never going to be a good tournament angler unless I just show up at the right spot.
Dude, you do it. I mean, for not having electronics and stuff, like it's just you're just such a prime example. Like you've had so much success in tournaments. I don't care. I don't know what you're saying. Like I'm never going to be good. Like you have so much success, and it's like it's.
I've been decent. I'm decent. I'm not going to be like the guy in the top 3 all the time.
Yeah, maybe you're not going to make a living off of tournament fishing, but you do pretty darn good. I think most people would be pretty pleased with your track record.
One thing I am proud of. So in Ohio, one thing I do know how to do is find small fish. So
nice.
There's you know about the micro series.
Yeah.
There's 8 people were in this tournament, so 8 people signed up, and I signed up, and I caught some the first day. I actually have a 6.5-inch smallie jump off my board into the water before I got a picture. And your goal is 5 to 9.75, so you want to get as close as you can to 5 inches. Well, the second day, I go up this little creek. I'm floating the river. I've caught like two fish all day. And I'm like 3 or 4 hours in. There's a little creek channel coming in. I'm like, I'm gonna go up that creek channel. I drag my kayak up it, find this little pocket, catch some fish, go to the little pocket, and keep going up. I catch back-to-back 7.5 inchers. And yes, sir, I am.
How many of those trophies do you have now?
I got a trophy, the micro bag trophy. It says Kayak Adventure Series, Great Midwest of us, Springfield, Ohio. Micro bag. Look at the design.
Oh, I love the design. That is
the dude holding a tiny little fish is so. I'm like, that is awesome.
Hey, so wait, haven't you won one of those before?
This is my third one. I won.
So you have 3. So do you have 3 trophies?
Yeah, somewhere.
Please, can you make a display? Like, we need a wall, like in the back wall. I need a little display where you put your micro trophies. I don't want the real trophies, just the micros, because those are incredible.
First place trophies. I don't know where those are.
No,
these are more fun to me.
No, just the micro. I love that so much. I think that's such a cool concept that they do that. I'm glad that you're able to have such success consistently.
So I went in this little spot, but I was like one guy caught a smaller, like the smallest fish. He caught like a 6 something. And he caught it on like a wacky rig or something. I don't remember. So I went in this little creek channel, and it was one of those little channels that are like 6 inches deep with just flowing water, but you like see all kinds of little fish swimming around. Went in there, had my ultralight rod ready, little Bobby Garland, throw up in there, bam, start catching them. Cold all my fish in this one little creek channel. I had there's like 3 7s and 2 7.5 inchers. So it's like a pretty small limit. I was pretty proud of that. I got to go up in front and talk about it, how I conquer these fish. But I feel like I'm like, I won $250. So I'm like, even if people don't take this seriously, I'll spend an hour or two trying to catch them because I feel like I can do this. This is something I know how to do. I know how to downsize. I know where little bass are.
You won $250 for winning that?
Yeah.
And how much does the cost of like the entry for those tournaments cost?
$25.
Well, son of a gun, man. You're 10xing. You have it's a great return on investment. Yeah, I might have to start fishing micro tournaments.
They might have paid me too much. I'm trying to remember. I think they paid me $50 extra. I think it was supposed to be $200.
Uh-oh. Okay, cancel that part of the show. Don't put it out there.
I don't remember. I have to go back and look at the check.
Do not release this episode.
Anyhow, they only pay out one place. Like whoever the top person is, it's just one for the micro division.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna win that. So I was like, all right. So when it comes to little fish, I take it seriously and it pays for it. Little fish pay. That's what I've learned from this week.
All right. Well, I like that. I'm happy to hear that you're having such success. All right. So what else is going on here?
Let's talk a little about summer. Tell me something about summer fishing. I got something I'll talk about here in a second that I did, and it was a challenge from last week or from last one, and I did it, and I plan to do some more of it. But we're now in the summer. It's getting hot out there. What's something that you change up about your fishing to kind of match the conditions, or do you do anything different?
Yeah. So, I mean, the other day, honestly, like I said, I don't feel like I had my best day of fishing. And I think it really did speak to the kind of conditions. I don't know if I adapted very well. The fish were definitely like all the bass were definitely like post spawn, pretty post spawn. So like the one that I did, that big one that I caught was like very noticeably empty belly kind of thing. So very much in that transition period where the water's warming, the days are getting hot, and they can be finicky. They can be kind of challenging, but they're going to go to some of those deeper break lines. They're going to go to some of those areas where they get some shade throughout the day. And at times they can be just challenging, I would say, to trick. So from a bass fishing standpoint, I don't know if I have all the best tips in the world, but I think you kind of got to grind a little bit. You got to look for those areas where you have like access to deeper water and you can, you might need to fish them a little slower, so on and so forth. But then from a panfish standpoint, I did use a little bit of my day to go after some of the bluegill and stuff. And they were actually, a lot of them were still around some of their beds. I don't think they were actively spawning anymore, but they were still around all the bluegill beds and stuff. So I would just toss up there and they would just smash it. You'd see like all the beds from bluegill and stuff, but there would only be like a handful of fish there. The ones that were there would crush it. So for me, like that was just like, I just kind of pursued what I could get to bite. It's like if the bass were slow, I'm like, whatever. I'm going to chill off on the bass for a little bit, and I'm going to go chase down the panfish. And I was able to maximize my day in that sense. But definitely look for a lot more just like shade and cooler water wherever I can find it. And
Yeah.
in Michigan, there's a lot of docks, right? So it's like docks. I spend a lot of time around docks during the heat of the summer because they get that consistent shade. And I feel like the fish a lot of times will suspend underneath them. And you can pretty much always find fish on docks up here, but specifically in the heat of summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me for bass fishing, shade like really becomes important.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's all. I mean, they always want shade. They always want like something like that. But it's like the more intense the heat the sun is out there, you see shade pockets. You're like you're like okay, you get more. You're like all right, there's probably a fish over there sitting in that little. Even if it's like a little spot somewhere, like on the river, just like a little. I don't fish a lot of docks just because I don't do so many. I do some over rivers, but I do some lakes and stuff. But shade, overhanging trees, thick bushes that are like hanging like 4 or 5 feet out. That's where you like really want to get something up under there because they could be real tucked up in there. That always makes me feel like I feel like I've solved something. Whenever you like you know what, there's probably something way up under there. I'm gonna spend an extra 10 seconds to get a really good cast up under there, and you end up catching one.
Yeah, I feel like that's where, I've talked about it several times in various videos and stuff. Is like to have like if you're bass fishing, probably more of that skip cast, right? But if you're like ultralight fishing or fishing with lighter gear, to be able to shoot a jig, like, you grab your line and you like bow and arrow and you shoot it under stuff, man, definitely pays off in the heat. Like because you're able to shoot stuff way back under a dock or way up under, like you said, like if there's overhanging trees, if there's undercut banks, getting it up in that stuff, the fish might be in 6 inches of water, but they're going to be up under something where they're super comfortable, but they're not used to seeing lures hit their face because most people can't make that cast. And I'll tell you, I've caught hundreds and hundreds of fish by shooting jigs, and it doesn't always have to be under a dock. A lot of people talk about dock shooting. You can do the exact same thing under trees, under, just whatever it may be. And I use that in the kayak all the time, but I even use it from bank. Like even bank fishing, you can put to use those types of casts, just being able to hit different angles that people aren't typically hitting and getting it in places where people don't typically get it. Man, I've caught so many fish, and a lot of times very respectable fish, by executing casts that are just challenging. So yeah, I mean, I don't think either of us are electronics experts. I think this is the time of year where if you are an expert with like the deep water and the electronics, that's obviously an option as well. I do fish for offshore fish for sure during the summer. A lot of times it's kind of just like I'm looking at a deeper weed bed and whatnot, and I happen to find fish, and then I might start doing some vertical fishing and stuff, but I am not an expert with that. So I typically am going to go towards those shorelines and look for a lot of good shade and a lot of good weed beds and stuff.
And that's why creek fishing is king this time of the year. As I tell people all the time, if you haven't started fishing yet, or you're like, this is when you first get it, you're like, oh, it's hot. The fish are active. Yeah, the fish are active definitely right now. But this is when I thrive on going to creeks that are shaded. You can find creeks, a lot of times these small ones, the whole thing is shaded. You're walking around, it's 10 degrees cooler. The water is probably 70, 75 degrees, nice, cool. Keeps your feet, if you're walking in, it keeps your feet cool, keeps your whole body cooler. And those fish are fired up and active. This is, it's way cooler than like lake temperature, but those fish in there, they get, I was thinking about this the other day. You know how like a lot of people compare winter or like northern fish, they have a smaller window, from you up, they have a smaller window of summertime, so they eat more aggressively. I don't know if that's exactly true, but like it seems to be something like that. I think creeks are like that. I think that's their mindset. They have a smaller window, especially small creeks. Small creeks get cold, like super cold, super fast. It like changes quick when it's time to get cold. And then in the spring, it might take a long time for that creek to really warm up. But when they do, they are like on fire. And these the bigger the creek, the it changes. I'm talking about creeks. I'm like,
I think that makes a lot of sense. I also think they don't have stable conditions near as long throughout the year. I mean, a lake, if you look at a lake, they're going to have a lot more stability in conditions. Whereas like a creek, all it is volatility. It's like, okay, it's up, it's down, and, it's low. There's a lot of current. There's no current, so for them to have like stable conditions, stable feeding conditions, they're not going to have as much throughout the year. So I think you're probably right. Is like during the key stable feeding conditions, they're probably going to feed all the more aggressively. And then those other times of year, they're probably going to need to reduce how much calories they're burning as
Hmm.
much as possible because they have to fight current in shallow water throughout a lot of the year and they're dealing with a lot of stuff. And so like they're having to expend calories just by living a lot more than like a lake fish. They can just kind of go put their belly in the mud and they're fine. You can't really do that. You're constantly fighting something just to survive. So I definitely agree that it's like during those windows, they probably go crazy even more than like on a lake.
Yeah, that's why this is so fun, and they're all fighting like people. You've heard the phrase, "I'm fishing a creek, I can catch anything." Well, the reason you can catch anything is because they all take up the same space. All the species almost live in the same holes. In a lake, in a lake you can go target. All right, over here is going to be this fish. Over here is going to be this fish. Over here in a creek, they're all in there. They're all one might be at the back of the pool. Some have tendencies of being in front of the pool, back of the pool, down deeper on the sides, but they all live in the same area. So when you're going through and casting, you're going to catch bass and then sometimes other fish. It depends on what size lure you're using. But I got something here. I'm showing that this is something I talked about I think last time. This is a buzzbait. I've got like 4 or 5 different brands right now. This is a Darabuzz quarter ounce. I used this in black and caught a couple fish just the other day.
Where did you get that?
I don't know. I've had it in my backpack. I think I got it. It's
That's
Jackal.
yeah. I think that I've used the Jackal like they have like
I
a
think I got it. I'm pretty
chatterbait
sure I got it from my
thing.
local tackle shop. I think I saw it
Gotcha.
there. And I
Yeah,
was like,
they
oh,
have
I
like
can do
a
that.
Dara break or something. I think it's like their version of like a micro chatterbait, and that thing's
Ooh.
sweet. Yeah, but I don't know if you can buy it here because I think it might like you might have to buy it from overseas just because I think
Oh,
something
okay.
with like the trademark or whatever the patent that Z-Man has. But even so, they're they make good stuff like that
Okay.
that
I'll have
that
to look that
little
up.
chatterbait thing. So that's cool. I want to. Does the buzzbait? Did it work pretty well? Does it feel
Yeah,
quality and
I
stuff?
went out and I have that one and a black one, and I took the black one out just a couple days ago, and I caught like a 12-inch largemouth. I'm like reeling it in, and I'm throwing it on my BFS setup, so that was really fun. I'm reeling it in, and it's on that one I just showed you, the Cascade Kestrel Air and the medium light. And right before it gets back to me, there's like a little pool, and it kind of just changes. He's sitting at that bag of that pool and just sucks it under. It was like a 12-inch largemouth, and then but 3 weeks ago I went. It was like right after we talked, I believe. The last I went kayaking, and I caught quite a few on a Georgia Boys, GA Boys Outdoors buzzbait, and theirs is a 1/8 ounce. This is a quarter ounce, is what it says. This one casts really like a lot further. Just a little bit heavier. That 1/8 ounce though, you can still cast it, but I caught a bunch of smallmouth. Caught like a 16-inch smallmouth on it. It was really fun. So I'm loving these little micro buzz, and that was one of the goals I've been wanting to like play with. They're really fun. There's several brands out there that make them. And my next thing, and I was going to ask you about this, is I'm really trying to find the right BFS spinnerbait. Like I feel like I haven't found one that I'm like just comfortable with. It's either too heavy or too much drag or too small. Like the GA Boys, they make a small one, not even for BFS. They just make it for like spinning rods, and it's a 1/8 ounce. And it does really well. I need something a little bit bigger. Somebody was telling me about one the other day, but I may have to get more on those
So
Japanese
you
websites or
so you
something.
use you want like a quarter or like a 3/16?
Yeah, probably quarter, probably a little heavy. Well, I mean, quarter max. It depends on the blade, I guess, and then like
Yeah.
a little less.
So
Something that can.
what about those like Pond Magics or whatever the Booyah ones? They kind of have strange colors. That's my only thing is they don't have a lot of the
I've used them. I haven't used them a ton, but I've never liked the way the blades are real thin. They kind of just I don't you don't
they don't get
feel
enough
the
thump.
thump.
Okay, you want some wonder yeah, I
But
almost
at the
want
same time, I don't
maybe
want
you
too
could get a
big a
different
blade.
blade. Maybe you could actually swap the blade out for a slightly larger blade.
They're the right size.
Because I
And
like
and they're,
they have like high quality skirts. They're a little
yeah,
the colors are a little odd.
yeah,
And
they
they're
got
kind of
weird colors.
cool. They're kind of cool, but I almost want like more simple. I
Yeah.
don't know. I agree. I probably need to do some research. Like I'll tell you the one that I liked, but I wouldn't really consider a BFS is I always liked that War Eagle finesse spinnerbait. I wish if they had one that was just slightly smaller but the exact same design,
That's what I was
like
saying.
a
Yeah.
3/16th, that would be sweet, because that one has like the Indiana blade.
Yeah.
So like the slightly bigger. And if you were to just micro that just a hair, I guess you need to reach out to your Pradco
I
guys
know.
and see if they can make you
I've
one.
thought about that. I'm like, I feel like if somebody was to come out with the best BFS spinnerbait right now that you could get somewhere local, something you don't have to go find somewhere, I feel like it would blow up, because that compact. People would buy it just for regular fishing, because it would be able to catch like everything, a bass size, and it's not too heavy where it's like not real heavy drag. It's got just a big enough hook, maybe like just a size 1 hook, something about like this. Yeah, I mean, you can't really. What size hook is this? This is just the right size, like for a spinnerbait. If that was a spinnerbait, that'd be killer. Anyhow, there's that's I don't know. There's stuff out there to still be made.
Pretty
I'm
much
sure
all
people
for
are making
bass,
it.
though, right? I mean, would you expect to catch much else on it other than bass?
No, big crappie, random bass. No, I mean it's basically a bass lure, but I'll be able
Yeah.
to catch.
Other stuff might eat it. Yeah.
Still be able to pull like a 3 or 4 pounder, but also if you're targeting, 8 to 10 inchers, you're getting those. But that's the thing. Like I like throwing a lure, because I'll be fishing these little creeks, and there's a lot of little fish, but then there's a 16, 17 incher in there hiding. And if you're only throwing tiny lures, like they won't come out for it. I've seen that happen. I've seen these bass, they will not come out until you throw a full size lure at them. But anyhow, somebody put it in the recommendation. I know somebody out there really knows like the perfect spinnerbait. That's something I've been messing around with. I'm looking for that one right now. But yeah, that's all about all I got. It's time to get out there. If you want to hit a creek up, I say now's the time to do it. Fish are getting active, whether it's topwater or just a little lure, little crankbaits, little spinnerbaits, rooster tails. I've been seeing fish really active, hitting all kinds of stuff. From starting recently, and then it should continue all through summertime.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess between now and the next one, man, I definitely, you've made me want to pick up a BFS rod. So I think I got to get out and catch some fish with my BFS at some point in the next month. I also think I need to inflate my paddleboard soon, because
it
is hot.
Paddleboard video.
It is hot, man. I feel like I got to dip the piggies in the water, bro.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's that time of year. I always wait till about late June, early July, and I'll bust out the paddleboard, and I haven't busted it out yet. So I'm starting to think I might need to do that.
Yeah. All right, paddleboard video. That's your challenge. I want to hear some fish caught next time. I'm not sure what I'm trying to challenge myself to do.
I want you to catch that dang pickerel. All right, guys. Let's stay on John for the next month. Make sure to pester him on social media. Yeah. You can get him on Instagram. You can get him on YouTube. Make sure to go at Creek Fishing Adventures. Yeah. Send him a DM and say, "Where's that dang pickerel? We want to see it.
We want it." All right, we'll try to come through. Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching the Whatever's Biting podcast. Hope you can get out there and catch whatever's biting.